Computer. Welcome back to the Gym Owners Podcast. On this episode, we have Rob with REINVENTU Gym. It's Upscale Gym and Wellness Center in Boca. Rob, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, glad to be here. Happy to talk to you today.
Absolutely. So let's go into, I always ask people what type of gym do you have, and we'll get to that. I want to know how you got started in this industry that made you who you are today. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously played sports growing up as a kid, played hockey, played football, wrestling, all that good stuff. From there, transferred into a trainer, was training for quite a while. I was actually renting from an athletic training facility when I had a call from a corporate company who said, hey, we love your stuff. We'd love to bring you down. I just did a few videos for Men's Health, and they were getting like 400,000 or 500,000 hits. And that's how they seen me. So, you know, in the beginning, I was quite skeptical about going to a commercial gym. And, you know, some of the things that I heard, right, they're not serious. The training isn't good. But what I quickly learned is how to run a business and how to succeed at a business, and about metrics and metric management and, you know, everything else that I wasn't learning on the side. And it actually made me very, very sharp at running my training business, to the point that they asked me to go into management. And then, you know, from there, by the time that the pandemic hit, I was doing quite well in downtown Manhattan, overseeing a few clubs.
Yeah, corporate gyms, you know what? I mean, I started out at a big corporate gym, and I'll say this. I've had friends that were mortgage brokers, do real estate. They train harder on sales than people that, I mean, I've done car sales in the past, then car sales, mortgage brokers, retail. It really teaches you the art of learning your customers, building rapport, price presentation, and closing. For me, anyways. And also, what I want to talk about next is, I know you are a firm believer in leads, appointments, and shows, and that's, you know, again, that's the where I came from. You have to get your certain amount of leads per day. You have to get a certain amount of shows per day. If you don't, you're not on the ups list or whatnot, or you don't get to sell unless, you know, the top salesman goes home for the day. So talk about how you're going to be doing your gym where that pertains to that, or the leads, appointment, shows, what your belief is.
Yeah, so we're running a high-end luxury fitness facility out here in Boca Raton. It's exactly what the neighborhood is asking for, right? So when you run a premier service, everything has to be, from the minute that you even hear about us until your entire experience in the gym, right? So we're doing a major marketing campaign. We're going to let people know who we are, what we're about, how we can solve their problems in the community, how we're filling this void that has been out of this community, but in this wonderful area. You know, I don't know how they haven't had a gym like this, but now they do, and they're going to be able to enjoy it. So once we get in front of our audience and we target our audience, we know exactly who we want to talk to. I've already reached out to the 20 most populous businesses in Boca Raton. We've partnered up with some local businesses. We have some places where we're locking down permits to set up tables, and we're even talking about going into the mall with the sole purpose of obviously not only letting them know what we're doing, but we want to accumulate as many appointments as possible. And by accumulating as many appointments as possible, hence our entire business starts to flow, and it all starts up front. So what I'm basically mapping out right now, the training department is what I mapped out first, because it's the easiest, because obviously that's going to go off of memberships. And then when you know how much training revenue that you want to make, you're going to know how many memberships that you need to sell. So in downtown Manhattan, average would be about 100 new members a month. So out of those average 100 new members a month, we want to book at least 40%. I know some people say 30. I like to shoot for that 40%. Out of that 40%, you know, you book an appointment, everybody's not necessarily going to show up, right? So we want at least a 50% show rate, which would knock that down to 20. And then we want to sign half of the people who show up. So if you're able to accomplish that, you're going to sign 10 new personal training clients to your facility every month. And that's what we plan to do. That's going to turn in 1 year's time to 120 clients on the roster training at an average of, between once and twice a week. Let's just say, an average of 5 sessions a month, 6 sessions a month, at an average session value of $85, $90 a session. Now we're looking at, upwards of almost $1 million in training revenue just from breaking down exactly what we need in the front. Now, when it comes to the memberships, right, I want 1,000 members. So in order to backtrack from 1,000 members, I need to hire 2 competent membership consultants who originally opening up the gym. I'll probably just hire 2 trainers who can do both, and they'll get some 4 hours and they'll be able to build up their business. But we want them to have 3 appointments booked daily, each consultant. So if they have 3 appointments daily and 2 of them show up and they sell 1, each consultant should be able to sell 21 memberships a month. No problem. That's 42 memberships just from that. Walk-in traffic doesn't count. So we're looking to do about 100 memberships a month. And overall, we're looking to sell 1,000 memberships in this facility. That's going to generate somewhere around $900,000 a year in membership revenue. And that's just the training and the membership. We're already looking at 1.4 million. And then the juice bar and the wellness center, which can make up upwards of 20,000 a day. Now we're looking at a viable business and business model.
Yeah, that's good. If you could find a trainer that's a good salesperson, that is like finding a diamond in the rough, because I know trainers need sales. Because let's be honest, look, trainers didn't get into this business to be salespeople. They got into this business to help people, right?
Yes.
And that was always my experience, that like trainers that were teachable for sales, superstars. Nobody could touch them.
Yeah.
Membership sales people couldn't touch them because they couldn't talk to training as trainers could talk about training.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, instead of a 30 cent per, what I meant by 30% CPT to NMU, I meant out of every 10 memberships, the membership salesperson should be able to sell 30% at point of sale. What you just said about the 40 to 50%, I think that's perfect for appointments. If you get 50% to show, that's amazing, because you know what it's like with those orientations, since there's no, if you're just making an appointment, even for just an orientation that's $0 spent, some people don't value that. And then right off the bat, 50%, they don't show.
That has its own entire, everything that we do has a process, right? Everything has process, protocols, policies, and procedures. That's another great thing about coming from a corporate company. I'm so highly trained. There's not a situation that I don't have a policy on. So when we have an appointment, obviously we're going to make the appointment. If the appointment is more than, we try not to book it more than 72 hours out. If we have to book it more than 72 hours out, we'll give a phone call 72 hours out, and then we'll give a phone call 24 hours out. And then that day to reconfirm. You always have to make sure that you're confirming all of your appointments. And from the minute that you meet that person, that you start building that relationship. The first sale that's made is the sale to book the appointment. Now, when you talk about the trainers, I always tell everybody wants to train, but you'll never train if you don't sell anyone. You'll never sell anyone if you don't have someone to sell it to. And if you don't, you'll never have someone to sell it to if you don't learn how to book appointments. So it all starts up front. And we have some really smart people when it comes to training and science and strength and conditioning that we can help them progress in that area. So I'm actually looking for some younger trainers who maybe had a little experience at an LA Fitness or something like that. They understand the prospecting side and they're eager to learn and grow, and then we could teach them the rest.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it's like today. It's been so different since we've had club, but like the old days, they had lead boxes or like fish bowls where it's put your business card here to win a free lunch or to win a 6-month membership. And then you go to each one of your stores that you've set up. So what do you expect from your employees today of how to get appointments? What's changed? Do they still do that? Do they use Instagram, Facebook? Like, tell us what you guys are going to do.
Yeah. So obviously anything that we do at Reinvent You, the owners of this company always want to assure that everybody is set up for success. So when we talk about that, we want to make sure that we're providing them with a steady amount of leads that they can call, right? That should be about 60 to 65% of what they're doing. The ownership knows that, it takes money to make money. So we're going to be running ads on Facebook that are going to bring in very, very hot leads. Now, outside of that, I, as a general manager, will be setting up external prospecting events tables, partnerships, so on and so forth. And then they'll be required to partner up with a different local business each week as part of their own external prospecting, and then any other external prospecting. What I really like to do, and I did this with my trainers when I was a training manager, I like to find out what they're best prospecting at. Like, for instance, some trainers were great on the phone, some were great at the front desk, some were great off the floor. I found what they were good at, and I said, go ahead and do that. If they weren't good at something, or they weren't getting numbers in one area, but they were overall productive, I said, just go ahead and do what you're productive. And that's why metric management solves all your problems, because you just look at the number, you look at the result, instead of looking at a particular area and nitpicking on something.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. So you guys are going to do events where maybe set up a spin and win, where if it's on Main Street or somewhere, people enter like a 6-month and just get leads, call them, set up the appointments, and go from there. What are your thoughts on corporate accounts? Because I mean, I'm somebody that is a firm believer. If there's a place with a large number of employees, even if you say I'm waiving the corporate fee and you're giving everybody at that, say a place like a hospital that has 1,000 employees or more, some of them, say everybody gets a 10% discount on personal training and memberships. Like, okay, no worries. What are your thoughts on corporates?
Yeah, so corporate accounts is definitely something that me as a general manager, I need to target. At my former company, we had a corporate account manager. So that's all that he did. So what I've been doing, I targeted the 20th biggest businesses in Boca Raton. Some of these businesses have 50 and 60,000 employees. So these are people that I want to get in front of me. So as my experience with corporate accounts, we give them as much as a 40% discount on our month-to-month membership if this business has more than 5 people and they're willing to do their part. Now, what I mean by do their part is I want them to take my marketing email and distribute that throughout their company. Everyone who's been part of a corporation, you could probably get 100 emails a day, but one of those emails should definitely be, hey, we just locked in a partnership with REINVENTU Gym. This is an ultra luxury gym. Click here to look at the 3D render of the gym, and click here to sign up for your 40% corporate discount. So that's something that we're looking to do. Like I said, I've identified 20, and 20th on the list had like 1,800 members. So we're looking at targeting a couple of 100,000 people just through that. If we get 2% penetration, we're going to get hundreds of members.
Yeah. And some of the places will even, like, it's HR's job to provide employee benefits for being a worker at that employee. So 1-800-Flowers, whatever, gyms, all that stuff. It's their job to do that and promote it. I know a lot of corporates will even say, Rob's going to be in the break room from 2 to 4. Please go there if you'd like to get signed up. That's great. The other corporate memberships, which is like a lotto ticket, if you get, that's when the company pays for everybody. Like, you set up one huge account and everyone of that account, and then they give you the ACH number, and that you decide to bill everyone. That's like the lotto ticket. Have you ever had any success or have seen any of that in your time in the fitness industry?
Fire departments regularly do that. So we always try to reach out to different fire departments, police departments.
Awesome.
Now, a lot of them have certain relationships with, gyms, but we just say, hey, in addition to what you have, we're going to offer that as well. And then we try to set something up with them. And especially on Long Island, we have a lot of volunteer fire departments. It's a lot easier to get in with that, and offer group training and a lot of other kind of services that, a lot of these gyms are looking to put in front of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So going off, so now we got the appointment. The person's going to show up. Let's go into the next step, which is giving a proper tour. So from the name meet and greet to asking questions about themselves, to not the orientation necessarily, but I would say just the tour. So this way the person's going to sign up. What are your thoughts on giving tours?
Yeah, so first thing we do is that we put the whole facility on a PowerPoint, right? We want to, as a luxury fitness brand, map out all of the little details that separates us. Obviously, when you come in a facility like ours, you can expect state-of-the-art showers like a 5-star hotel. You'd have soap, razors, body wash, all those kind of things. People want to know about them. They want to know that they're available. We want to be able to take them through the facility, explain all the different kinds of equipment, why we have that equipment, what our group exercise classes are, which ones come with your membership. We want to point out any trainers or any staff that we see at that time. We want to make sure that they know everything that the wellness center has, that they can get their Botox injections, laser hair removal, blood work, chiropractic needs, all that stuff, the juice bar, what it has, and everything that their membership incurs. And then when we take them back to the desk, we have a binder that we show them with all the membership options. They also have pictures and profiles of all of the trainers, various other services. And then obviously we want to answer any questions that they might have and secure the sign up and 2 referrals from that person at sign up.
Sure. Yeah, that's always big. I've always had, there was always a VIP guest list at the end of the sale, and I'll say, hey, put 3 people down here, and if whoever you put down here, I'll waive their day fee. If they come with you, just go through your phone. And some people, can I put more than 3? It's like, okay, I'll let you put more than 3, you know, but
give me 10.
yeah. But the tour is definitely, I've noticed when I've worked at high dollar monthly gyms, it's like what you just said, showing them why you're different. That's value selling, right? And, you know, there are, a lot of people, when they do come into a place, I mean, you are going to have people that just know what they're getting into at a facility like yours. They're expecting the high dollar. But when you go out and lead prospect and you get people to come in, you really have to train to value sell, where you have to make that person remember why they're stepping foot in your facility. What about themselves do they want to change? Because I know a lot of people, sometimes they have blah, blah, blah fitness is $9.99, blah, blah, blah fitness is $9.99. And you have to stop that broken record that's skipping in their head and make them realize, you know, oh, this place is going to be the answer of why I'm going to get in shape. And it also helps with your price presentation, right?
Yeah.
Like if you told me, oh, I want to gain 20 pounds of muscle, I've been thinking about it for 6 months, you live around the corner. If you tell me that you have to think about the $140 or $120 a month, I can just go back to that line of questioning and be like, Rob, you've been told me to think about it for 6 months. We're right around the corner, so you know you're not going to be wasting money on gas. What more is it you have to think about? Is the upfront investment or the monthly investment? That's how I always try to do my price presentation and with the tour. Also, I remember, and you could tell me about when people tell, because sometimes people are like, I'm only here to do cardio. And I would see salespeople like going around the weight room and I'm like, oh my God, they're tuning you out. After like a minute, they're telling you what they want. Like, go through that part of the gym, put them on the treadmill, put them on the elliptical. This is their area of interest.
Exactly.
What do you have any other, well, what other thoughts? Like you said, let's go back over everything that you guys are going to offer, because it's a high dollar monthly gym. But what are some tips for you that worked well for you to value sell, or what's going to be good for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, obviously you want to know what you're selling, right? You want to know what you have. You have to know your product. You have to know all of the little details in your product that the naked eye is not going to see. So for instance, if I have a phone in my hand and I tell you, hey, this is a phone, you may or may not want to pay $1,400 for it. Probably not. But if I tell you, hey, this phone is a camera, this phone is a video recorder, this phone can do spreadsheets, time, it can answer questions, tell you what time it is in other countries, all these different things. Now I have an iPhone and you want to buy it because it has so many different things that a regular phone doesn't have. It's very interesting that you said, you know, the $10 gym down the block. There's something going on in the fitness industry right now. Some people have caught on to it and some people haven't. And if you haven't,
we're not going to name names. We're not going to name names. I don't want to be.
You know, you have these gyms that for $9.99, you can get everything that people asking for $50 and $60 with less amenities have. You're either going to fall into that $9.99 category eventually, or you're going to have to up your ante and you're going to have to provide stellar service and premier product that you're going to be able to sell at 100 and up, because it's going to be bottom line or luxury. The in between, it's getting phased out. Yeah,
I would say if you are in between, there's 2 things that I could tell people. If you're like in between and you're battling, because it's really like those $30, $40 a month gyms that are battling out those ones, that's their real competition. Is 1, the place has to be immaculate to where I can eat off the floor. And 2, that better feel like a family, like I'm joining up, I know everybody, that customer service is spot on. Because you're right, it's not
convenience. It's got to be extremely convenient.
Yeah.
You know, my former company would put gyms inside train stations. That's how they blew up. They had the best locations anybody can get. So if you have that, you'll be all right. But other than that, why would I pay $50 to come to your gym when I can go to Crunch for $9.99 and get everything and a lot more?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. And it also, remember, when you're battling those types of gyms, I mean, sales is so important when you have like 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and up. When you have someone that, I mean, the sales, you're not going to find employees that are willing to go prospecting for $10 a month memberships. I mean, that's all straight walk-in traffic. But I would say when you do start to get to high dollar monthly gyms is, not to come off as a salesperson. No, like you just said, know your product. Everybody there should be able to know that's a 95 Ti treadmill with the silicone flex deck, and to sound like a teacher, not as a salesperson, because people will listen to
Be
a
an
teacher,
educator, not a presenter. This is one of my main things. You have to educate, not present. See, the thing about us is that I can hire a salesperson and I can easily show them a realistic pathway that they can make $100,000 a year in our facility. So when you're able to do that, you're able to hire people who are more skilled. When you're dealing with a $9.99 gym and, these guys are making, minimal dollars, they're going to max out at a lot less than that. And hence when they get better and they have the skill set to leave, they will leave. One thing that we're doing is that we're creating a pathway for every employee to be a six-figure employee in our facility.
That's awesome. So I heard you say Botox. What are some of the amenities like when someone comes into your facility that, because it sounds like you're not just a gym, it looks like a spa and everything. Like, what are the top amenities that you're going to be presenting when people walk in?
Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to the wellness center, you'd be able to go get your blood work done. You can see the doctor there. You'd be able to get all of your hormone therapies. If you want to get a chiropractic adjustment or anything dealing with, myofascial release, you'd be able to see somebody specifically for that. If you're looking for, cosmetics like Botox, hair removal, anything that falls under that category, we'll have a specialist that only deals in that area. Now, when the entire gym itself, from the minute that you walk in, the floors are going to be, second to none, moss wall. You're going to walk through the lobby. You're going to tell that the materials made in this facility are something that you just don't regularly see in a gym. It's gonna have more of a hotel type of feel to it. Obviously, in the bathroom, we're gonna have tons and tons of amenities in there. And we have all state-of-the-art arsenal machine equipment that's very, a lot of it you can't even get right now. So it's all brand new, state-of-the-art. We have state-of-the-art treadmills, rowers, ski ergs, air bikes, pretty much anything and everything. We have your Woodway treadmills that just go. They don't even need motors or anything. So we have everything that's state-of-the-art. We have everything that, you see in a book and you're like, man, I wish my gym had that. We have it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So to getting people to know that you have that, we'll circle back to pre-sales because you guys, when is the grand opening for the facility?
So the grand opening is looking like July, and pre-sale is already underway. Obviously, in a perfect world, you want to run a 4-month pre-sale. You want to open up with a minimum of 200 to 300 members. I know Orange Theory, they won't even open up if you don't have 200, but you want 200 to 300. My goal is 500 on pre-sale. And usually the first 2 months, we're not giving them any offer. We're just putting ourselves in their face. We're posting, we're putting out ads, we're in the community. And then after that initial phase goes in, then we start hitting them with our offers and our deals and our start date and the party and everything else. And then obviously at the party, these guys have a lot of things planned, for that within itself. We want to be able to cap it out and then roll into opening day with at least 500 memberships on the book.
Excellent. So that's great. I've worked at places where they did the ground was just barely broken and they rented an office and they did a year-long pre-sale where somebody pointed on the easel or they showed like a virtual tour of what it's going to be. And that's how they did pre-sales. So your goal is 500. What would you, so for a gym that's like yours, tell us a little about your pricing structure and why you decided to make it that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think our pricing structure is really that outrageous. We're $125 on a month-to-month.
Okay.
and with a year commitment, and 150 on a month to month with no commitment. We also have, different membership packs where you can get discounts up to 30%. We have a college membership, and then we have a fire, police, military discount as well, which will be in the 30% range. So a lot of people who get into our gym will be priced in somewhere between that $80 to $100 range. But what you're getting for that price is above, and you're getting value for your dollar.
Sure. Yep.
We're definitely
Absolutely.
giving top value. Just the fact of the equipment that we have that no other gyms in the area even offer, that alone is going to draw a lot of people into us. And then we're priced pretty much alongside what all the other gyms are doing, maybe $5 or $10 more. But for that, you're getting hundreds of dollars more a month in service. I mean, when you walk in our facility, you're going to know that it's different because you're going to have that person at the front desk, and that's going to set the tone for the entire facility. And, it's just going to be a pleasure to be there. Really what I'm taking is what I learned in that downtown Manhattan, in that New York Stock Exchange, World Trade Center, Chelsea, those neighborhoods where service was, the most important thing that you can come with. We're taking that mentality and we're putting it into this gym, which these guys have already, secured the most, best equipment that money can buy. And it's going to make a great product.
I don't even think that's that much. I mean, think about it. If we break it down to the ridiculous for somebody that does go, oh, $80. I mean, it's $20 a week. Like, who doesn't spend more than that a week on bad stuff that isn't helping you, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I really don't see that as being sticker shock. I mean,
No.
so
I'm expecting to sign up 80% of the people who come in for tours.
80% closing rate. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, the ones I see pretty much, yeah.
So what are you, so you said you wanted to get trainers and try to like teach them sales. What were your thoughts on, because whenever I had to get salespeople, it was always hard if I hired somebody with previous sales experience from another place, because whenever I tried to tell them, like, well, when we worked here, this is how we did it. Like, well, you don't work there anymore. You work here. And it was almost like they were expecting, I just didn't get the workmanship. Like, where if I went to Best Buy and I hired someone stocking the shelves that knows nothing, I could teach him everything. And all he knows is what I teach him. And I just brought him in, and now he gets to sit in a gym and make more money than he did at Best Buy. So that person's a soldier for me and pretty much is going to do whatever I say. Yeah. What's your experience with hiring people? Like, if I was a brand new gym owner, I'd be like, hey, I need help hiring someone. What would be some of your advice to me?
Yeah, I mean, we always want to hire people who are less seasoned. We want to mold them in the image and shape of our company. Sometimes hiring, we definitely don't want to hire anybody else's problem, right? So every time a new gym opens, there's always somebody who wants to leave where they're at and they want to come because they want to be in the new gym. But a lot of times, if you don't do your homework, you can hire, somebody's problem. And listen, I've been a strength and conditioning coach for almost 30 years. I've worked at so many different facilities. There's always so much beef between the coaches. It's so much, this one's doing, has so many clients. This one doesn't train in the style that I think is, the best style to train people. And it's just so many egos involved. Like I said, what we want to do, we want to come in, we want to teach them the process from day one. Number one, you'll never train anyone if you can't get anybody in front of you. So although you do need a certain level of knowledge to be able to get the job, right? We're just not going to have people learning how to train on the fly. We do want people who know what they're doing. But when it comes to that whole sales process, we're going to train them. We're going to put them in classroom training. We're going to do role play, a lot of different types of things that are going to mold them in how we set our company standards. Because even the way that we do our assessment, there's a particular standard that each trainer is going to have to adhere to. And then, along goes the process.
You said a word that I haven't heard in a real long time, role play. And that is like so essential, where I know a couple of places that I work at, the manager would make everybody do a couple of different things that, situations that they could deal with today. And it does two things. It keeps you sharp because sometimes, you know, your first walk in, it hits you out of the blue and then you end up missing the sale. Whereas when you role play it, it just gets you, it makes you sharp. So what, for gym owners that are, if they happen to watch this and they're like, oh, what's role play? You want to describe what role play is and what you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm just going to go over with my team exactly what they're going to say and do during the course of, you know, whether it's a tour or an assessment or whatever that we're working, like wherever that I'm sending them. I never send them out there without any ammunition, right? So everyone's going to have, I hate scripts, like I hate saying script, but we're going to go by framework, right? Let's use framework is a lot better because script,
Sure.
it sounds like no matter what you say, I still have to say what I'm looking to say. We just want you to hit on certain bullet points. We want you to do the assessment in a certain way. We want you to, when you tour the facility, we want you to take them around a certain way. So we're going to role play. We're going to run through that. I'm going to act like somebody who's just coming in, and you're going to take me on your tour and show me. And hopefully the first two things that you say is what brought you in today and what exactly is your ultimate fitness goal, right? Because if you don't even know those two things coming in the gate, you know, you first of all, you're not knowing what to target and track, right? You need to know where everyone's coming from. And number two, you need to know what that person's looking to do so that you can show them how you can help.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% on scripts. Scripts are just, they're a good foundation, but I think the person should mold that script to whatever they have to change the words to make themselves feel confident on the mission of whatever that is. If it's an appointment, if it's, you know, walk, whatever the case may be. And I know, because you can't just have somebody says, hey, if you do this, you're going to get 20 leads. This person may do whatever and get 8 leads in an hour. I mean, I used to be able to call out the phone book, and I had it wasn't really a script, but I would just call and say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, did you receive our gift certificate in the mail? And they would say, no, I haven't. I'd be like, oh, are you still at 2521 Straight Island Way? I'd be like, no, I never lived there. I'm like, ugh, I can't believe they did this again. You're at, you know what? Why don't you just come down here at 5 o'clock? Come see me. My name is Anthony. I'm going to personally give you a tour. And you know what? Why don't you bring a friend and I'll give them a free 1 month as well. And I'll be able to do that to just literally out of the phone book and get my 8 leads in under an hour. So I'm always against gyms that say, hey, you have to do it this way. I love that you said whatever their strongest suit is to get the leads, that's how you're going to win.
Yeah. And also, I'll tell you, for managing different gyms, right? So I've been associated with over 35 gyms. What works in one place is not necessarily what's going to work somewhere else. Every gym is unique. Every gym has its own unique problems, unique features. And you can't always expect it to go the same way. But if you know metric management and you know the numbers that you need to be hitting and you just focus on that, it's going to alleviate a lot of those problems for you.
I like that. So you live in business reality, meaning there's some people that will walk in and be like, well, if you do this and you do that, you're going to get your eight appointments and 20 leads, and you're going to get 50% of them show, and you're going to close one of them. Like everybody, yes, you should get those things. But like you just said, every gym is so different. The demographics are different. You know, you have to live in business reality, and you have to change with what the needs of that place of where you're at. Yes, 100%. So 35 gyms. What would you say, without naming any names really, what would you say was your biggest struggle at any of those places? Pick one that you had your biggest struggle that you were able to overcome.
Real easy. It was in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, and I was just coming into a gym, and we had a group of trainers who were all pretty much there, like 10 years and better. And like 4 or 5 managers, like they ran them out there and they got them all fired, you know? So they pretty much were like, hey, listen, we're running this, not you. And the gym was failing, right? So like the first thing I did was I sat down as a team, and I knew how much that they had pride in being there and wanting to be at that particular site. Like, it was a company that had tons and tons of gyms, but this gym here was special. And I knew it was special, and they knew it was special. The problem is that other people who were working in there didn't know that it was special. So once I sat them down and said, hey, we need to have a plan as a team going forward where we can get this revenue back up, because if not, the gym is going to close and I need the buy-in from everybody. And I'm going to ask you some simple things, and I'm going to listen to you guys because you guys have been here and you guys know everyone here and I don't. And we're going to coexist and we're going to work. And it ended up being one of the most beautiful relationships that I've ever had with a group. And it was about 7 of them when I got there. And it really turned into something special.
Cool. Awesome. So with your experience at 35 gyms, I know you probably have, you know, it's just as much as I do. There's all different types of owners that let's see this. There's little small 5,000 square foot gym owners, and there's 15, 20,000 square foot gym owners that I do know, watch some here and there. So if you had a, let's just say the average that I would say that says like $35, $40 a month. If I was to say, hey, Rob, I'm going to give you a 8 to 10,000 square foot gym, the monthly dues are around $40, $50. What can you get my monthly EFT up to? What would you say yours, like, what do you think is the potential of something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm gonna bounce that right back off you, because I'm gonna tell you I can get the revenue to this if you give me this support, because it's all gonna start and end with leads. And gym owners all the time, they don't want to spend money. They don't want to spend on marketing. They don't listen. There's only so much walk-in traffic you can get. A lot of these gyms aren't even in places that even get walk-in traffic, so you can forget about that right from the beginning. You know, my biggest thing when I talk to a lot of gym owners is be realistic. Like when I had taken the GM position at REINVENTU Gym, the ownership sat me down and said, "Hey, this is where we're looking to go. What do you need to get there?" I said, "I need so and so many leads, and this is how we have to accumulate them." And they said, "No problem," and they delivered. So I would say, hey, if you want your personal your gym memberships to be 35,000, that means I need 1,000 members. In order to get 1,000 members, this is what I'm going to need from you to supply me with the leads that I need to close enough people to sell 1,000.
Yep.
You know, you're not being realistic.
No, perfect answer. That's perfect. That is on site perfect, which now leads me into my next thing. So they go, okay, Rob, and keep in mind, I'm asking these questions because I know some people are going to be asking what I'm asking you right now, and they go, okay, fine, we'll get you. We're down with spending money. What's the best place for me to spend money? Is it Facebook Pixel, buying ads on there? Is it Instagram? Is it, what would you suggest?
Another good question. Number one, first of all, you need to know who your audience is. Who are you speaking to? I always like to narrow it down to a particular person, right? Like, who's the perfect person who walks in the door of my facility? And then from there, I backtrack. Where does this person shop? What kind of music does this person listen to? What kind of food does this person like? What kind of social media platforms is this person on? And then we target from there. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram, it could go either way. I've had a facility where it was a small training facility where we spent $2,000 a month on Facebook ads. We got 100 leads and we signed, 10 to 15 every month, and we were making money hand over fist on ROI with that. And I've seen other people spend $3-4 in Facebook ads and get nothing out of it, which is, can attest to the talent and skill set of people that you need in order to run an operation like that. But Facebook, everybody's on Facebook. 6-year-old kid and 92-year-old ladies on Facebook. Instagram with gyms, everybody's on Instagram and fitness. So that that would also be a good place to go on those social media platforms. But hey, we're a high-end luxury brand. We have a big presence on Twitter as well, because a lot of our people are on Twitter.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's why it's so important to have a place where people can sign up online. Like like there's a lot of people that I know where they don't still, if they don't have a website, or they do have a website, there's no way for people to sign up. In today's day and age, Twitter, Instagram, especially Instagram, people watch that more than TV. And you could have somebody in that very moment just watching a body transformation story and go, I'm going to do that. And they're Googling gyms near me. And if you do not have the ability for that person to sign up right then and there, I could guarantee you that person isn't going to feel that same way come tomorrow morning. And it's going to be another 6 months before they feel that way again.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to take
So,
advantage
yeah.
of that enthusiasm. And that's why at POS, you need to book the assessment. You need to sell the training if you can. You need to get as much stuff. Crunch and UFC have a model at POS. They will sell you everything half price. Their whole thing is to get all that upfront money. And I was a fitness director at UFC, and I will tell you, half of the people who buy all that stuff up front, they never even use it. It's just there in the system.
Yep. Well, it's important a lot because the statistics show if you do not sell somebody some type of training or at least have somebody show up for orientation, you're going to get maybe 7 or 8 months out of them. And then they're going to end up canceling, maybe even less, depending on what the dollar amount for that thing is. So it is crucial to, if you can't sell training at point of sale, then at least book them with an orientation that they get some type of cookie cutter workout where people, they're going to actually use the facility.
Yeah. But the number one, and that's why we track member usage reports so much. And that's why when it comes down to personal training memberships, we track unused sessions. Right. I want to know who's not using their personal training sessions because they're more prone to cancel. And I want to know who's not using the gym because they're more prone to cancel. And obviously we go out on a 30-day, on a monthly, on a rolling 30-day, rolling 90-day, so on and so forth. And we always want to make sure that we're reaching out to those members and that we're getting them in.
That's got to be, you got to be skilled. If you're reaching out to somebody that hasn't checked in 90 days, you better be smooth talking, boy, because I've always, like, you're reminding them that they're using for something that they're not using. Do you have any expertise, or do you have any advice on first 30 days? I always tell people, you could reach out to them. They're still excited about, getting in shape, right? Anything, if you reach out to them anymore, do you have any advice on how to reach out to them? Is there anything in your, not script, but in what you say?
In my repertoire? Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Of course. So, I mean, obviously, we want to do a check-in. We want to do a health check. Just how are you, right? How are you? Is everything okay? We haven't seen you here in a while. We know everybody. We're going to know everybody by name. So when we have, somebody coming into our facility, we're going to know who they are, where they're from, what they like to drink at the juice bar, who's training them. We want to know everything about them so that when we call them, we already have that personal relationship built up. Now, if it's somebody who feels like they're falling off their fitness goals, I want to get them in front of a trainer, and I want to get them in front of a trainer fast. Because, like you said, a lot of people join the facility, they don't know how to use all the equipment, they fall off. Now, other things could be other reasons, right? Why somebody's not coming. Maybe there's something going on in the family. Maybe there's a job. Maybe they're just falling off. And, hey, listen, sometimes we have to have that conversation. I rather keep cancel a member and get them back than have this thing running off on their card forever and ever. And then they turn around and they think that there's something bad with us. So if anything, now there's a whole 7-point process on the cancellation process that I can, go into, but in the least, hey, we'll just freeze it for you for now. You got up to a year. I'll put you on a year freeze. I'm collecting the $25 a month for the freeze fee. I'm being the good guy, taking care of them. When they're ready to come back, I'll make sure that we get them in there with the trainer and that they get, back on track the right way. Because most of the time, a lot of people aren't coming because they're not seeing results. They're not seeing results because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing because nobody's showing them. But we plan on being highly active in my facility, making sure that everybody knows what they're doing, everybody's comfortable, everybody feels accepted, and that we are on a personal basis with everyone in the facility.
Yeah, I think you're on the 90% is people not seeing results. I mean, think about this. Would you show up to your job for a month, 2 months without getting paid? Well, for them, it's the same thing. Yeah. They're showing up, they're putting in work, they're not getting paid with results. And they just stop coming. They become a little depressed because they're not seeing results. Maybe I can't do it. So I would say what you just said, putting them in front of a trainer, that is always going to be the answer, because you put somebody in front of a trainer, even if it's a cookie cutter workout, at the end, they are winded. And I promise you, they will say, oh man, all right, I need to get started with this,
Yeah. I mean, they know they need it. And in this area, the median salary is $98,000 a year. It's not about the money. So when I talk to them, It's about, hey, what's going on? We care about you, and we need you to come in and see us so that we can help you.
So yeah, so that would mean when you have your employees for that, you definitely have to train them on reading the client,
Yeah.
building rapport, knowing
Mhm.
what and what not to say to because when you have that type of demographic, it's I'm not saying that it's easy to not offend them, but easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm not coming back here,
Yeah,
because I'm
absolutely.
spending top dollar.
Yeah. And like you said, training, right? It falls back. We are going to pride ourselves on training our staff like no other facility or no other company has ever done. We have all the training classes already mapped out on PDF. We have the weekly meetings already mapped out. We plan on giving our people the best support in the industry. We're going to train them where they can go to other companies and get paid a lot of money, and we're going to treat them good enough that they're not going to want to go and do that.
Yeah. Well, you hit the key right there. You said weekly meetings. Some places don't have any meetings, or they might have once a month meetings with just the results of what happened last month. Weekly meetings keep people on track. It keeps them
Oh, yeah.
motivated. If
Yes.
they give them a goal to hit at the end of the month,
Mhm.
super
Yeah.
important. So how long would you say if somebody's watching this, like, okay, I'm down to do weekly meetings, what would you say, like, what does your weekly meeting look like?
Yeah, I mean, so each department's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, my membership consultants, we're going to meet every day. I want to know, what are you
Yeah.
doing today? What's going on? Who are you calling? Where are you going? All that, so on and so forth. When it comes to the personal training department, I like a check with me for 15 minutes every day, but I like the weekly meeting to sit down and talk to them and, hey, what's going on? What do you need? Like, what can I do for you to help you get, where you want to go? I'm always talking to them about how much money that they want to make and what we got to do in order to get them there. And if I got to hold my end of the bargain, and they got to hold up their end of the bargain. And also, I mean, the way that I just, grew up is we have to fill out certain spreadsheets every week. That's going to track progress. Where were they month to date last month according to this month? Like all that different stuff, growth. So we need to sit down and have those conversations about their business. And then as far as like the team, we just want to just keep lines of communication open real quick. What's going on? And, just hit on that. But the individual weekly meetings as a, revenue driver will definitely do you a lot of benefit. And then, like I said, you need to talk to your team every day. And if you're one of these gym owners who owns a gym and you're never there, you're setting everybody up to fail. You can't be an absentee owner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it's going more towards automation. And for those $20, $30 a month gyms, fine. I
Yeah.
get it. But that can't be for like your style of gym. That's a high
No.
dollar a month thing that you're offering all these amenities. People, you need that personal touch where people feel like they're being pampered, whether
Yeah.
it's just to say, hi, have a good workout, or, do you want to schedule your Botox session next week, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I will also say, so with that style of club, you probably have a division of directors. Like you probably have a fitness director, a sales director, and probably an operations director. Am I right with that?
Yeah, I mean, we're building out all of the framework, and we delegate responsibilities quite well. And yeah, right now we're doing all that stuff ourselves, and the goal is to build more and more gyms, to hire business managers, hire area managers, hire different kinds of directors, and build this out the way that some of these companies who have 1,000 gyms around the country have.
So what's lead towards the end goal for Reinvent You? What's the goal for how many gyms around the United States?
I mean, I, I couldn't honestly answer you that to X ownership, like exactly, but like what their plan is. But I'm doing everything on a day-to-day basis in my job responsibility, like it's going to be thousands.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right, sweet. All right, well, thank you for coming on. Is there anything else that's important for you to discuss with, or that you think somebody that's doing pre-sales with a club like yours that we haven't gone over, that you want to give any advice?
You know, keep trying things until you have things that work. Track what's working. Use different links. If you got 5 different ads, have 5 different links so you know what link people are clicking. And rely on your Gym Insight software. I have a lot of experience in this business. This is great software, and the software is only getting better because you guys listen to the people who use it and you make it better. So I'm excited to work with you guys and to get 1,000 members in that software and really start playing around with it the way I like to play around with the software.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. Well, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it. And we'll have to, after grand opening, after that month, we'll come back on to revisit how the grand opening month went.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait for that. I'm now I got the pressure to produce. So I'm gonna make sure I have those numbers, 500 members, and blowing out the personal training department. All right.
I wrote everything down, so we're going to check back up with you.
All right. Sounds great, man. You have yourself a wonderful day. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
All right, later, Rob. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.